The first thing is, like, this is high performance.
The reason why the lion is the king of the jungle is because of its mentality. It believes it's the king.
Somebody had said he could never break the 400 IM national record with this training method. And so we took a month and a half, and all we did is train for the 4 IM. We broke the NAG by 2 seconds.
And I think that's also my advice for younger swimmers. It's going to be tough, and it's not going to be nice every day, and of course it's going to hurt, and you're going to have pain, and you're going to win sometime, but you're going to lose more than you're going to win. But that's the game.
On a normal day, without looking in the stands, I just look straight at my block, just focus on breathing, look straight down the lane. Just, that lane is yours. It's yours to own, it's yours to defend, it's yours to protect, it's yours to dominate, and everything else doesn't matter, man. It's you and your lane. So that's all I think about, and that's all really anyone should focus on.
I race because I love it. I swim because I love racing. I swim because I like the thrill. I like the grind. I like to hurt at practice. I think more than any other thing, I like to win races. The feeling of winning races and all that anticipation, all that thick air in the call room, especially when you're in a world champ final, that's what I live for. That's why I wake up every morning and soar, and I go to practice and I smash it, and I come back to do it again the next day, So I believe in having fun,
What I will say to the kids in America that are 17 and 18 and are willing to go to these universities that have everything, honestly have everything, is just look into internet. What is it to live in a developing country or in a third world country, and how are the pools? Like sometimes people don't have pools, sometimes people don't have water to eat. So just be appreciative.
And my coach handed me a 3x5 card, and he said, "Here, take this to the Disneyland Hotel. I know at 6 o'clock they close the pool. Hop the fence, and this is going to be your main workout for the day." Yeah, for a year and a half, I did that until he finally got a pool where I could go train after school.
Wow.
Usually the janitor would kick me out at some point, but
luck is where preparation and opportunity meet. Okay? So if someone was lucky or quote unquote fortunate, they probably have prepared themselves, they probably have done the work they needed to do, the opportunity presented itself, and then they executed. And I think that was the same thing that we were taught when we were swimming. Like hard work beats great talent, and great talent doesn't work hard. Okay, and so you always have to work hard. If you have both, then great. That's a winning combination. I would say I just took that tenacity, the work ethic, and the drive, and the resilience that you learn from swimming, and then took that and went to Wall Street and just applied it.
I get them out of the water, sit them down, talk to them about this is what we've got to do and everything. And this young kid pipes up and said, "I got a really sore shoulder. I'm in pain." I said, "Pain?" I got up straight away, walked over to the brick wall there at Chandler, closed my fist. I don't know why I did it. And I scraped them down the wall and took all the skin off those 4 knuckles, just peeled it off on this concrete wall. And it started to bleed. And I went over and held it in front of his face and said, "That's pain, mate. Now get back in and let's keep training."
I got a little surprise for you. So one of your mentors was Richard Quick, and Richard was one of my mentors as well. And I only remembered this today, believe me. But I have your logbook from the year 2000.
Oh my gosh.
I just opened it. My producer was actually like, "What did she do today 21 years ago?" So I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you what you did today 21 years ago.
I remember my first time I ever met Laurie. My mum drove me to Chandler, and we walked into the pool there, and there's Laurie walking up and down the pool, barking a few orders, and I walked up to him, and my mum introduced me to Mr. Lawrence. This is my son, Johnny, wants to come and swim with you. And his first words to me said, "Son, are you hungry?" And I said, "Oh, no, I've had some lunch not so long ago. I'm okay." He said, "Not hungry for food you would eat. Are you hungry to win?"
With Stefan, we developed this power phrase, which was, "I'm strong, I'm fit, I'm healthy, therefore I'm fast." And basically, from the moment I got to the training venue to warm up, I was repeat. I had that on repeat in my brain, so it sort of didn't allow for space to go into random unhelpful thoughts.
One of the competitors that I was competing against asked if they could borrow my harness, and he said absolutely, let them have the harness. And I lost my, lost it at Dennis about, helping someone else out who I've got to compete against, and he just came straight back to me and said, if you can't beat that guy at your best, then you shouldn't beat him. And I thought, okay, where do I go with that?
Funny, I don't really say this that many times, but the last thing I was thinking about before walking up on the blocks in the 100 fly final, was my dogs.
Wow.
It's so weird. I was like, okay, when I come home to my dogs, they won't give a shit if I sorry for the language, if I win a gold or if I walk away from here now. They're gonna be so happy to see me again when I come home. They don't care about the medals, and that made me relax a little bit. I was like, okay,
I love that.
So you just have to, I think it's about just finding a perspective, try to zoom out a little bit, and I don't know, think about something else that make you happy just for a moment, and then you go back into the zone.
Your story is just ridiculous to think that you're lifeguarding on a beach and then, you become world champion, American record holder, fastest in American history. I mean, it's nuts.
Every morning I would come into the, we'd train at the same time. So I'd come in, sort of head down, a little bit dozy, a bit tired, fatigued. And then the moment I saw him, I had to brace myself for an arm over my head, into a headlock, into a scruff of the head, and then this Russian voice going, "Good morning, Sphincter boy, how are you this morning?" And a big laugh.
I've said this many times, and I talk about these young guys, the only person you can't beat is a guy that never gives up. So as long as I'm swimming, as long as I'm injury free, I'm gonna keep coming back. As long as my body can let me, I'm gonna be in the mix, hopefully, and God willing, I'm gonna be up there in the medals, in the mix, and hopefully I will have another Olympic title, touch wood, to my name before I retire, and many world titles and ISL titles and Commonwealth Games titles. That's hopefully gonna be my legacy.
Jackie just looks like she's swimming with that rabbit skin jacket that Elvis has got on right now. Here we go.
What was that sound?
Oh, yeah, that's even better. That's even better. You got rabbit on. He's shirtless. That's even better.
Shirtless. Great.
But why do you have? What are you wearing? Is it like a bathrobe?
Yeah.
If I wear it in the bathroom, it's a bathrobe, but I'm in a living room, so now it's just a living room robe.
Okay. So is it like faux fur?
Somebody on here wearing a Chewbacca costume? What's going on over there, Elvis? What is going on over there?
227.4 at the 250. 227.4. Ledecky's got a body length. She's bringing in the legs. I mean, it's all Ledecky right now, unless Titmus does something magical in this last 100.
Come on, Titmus! All day, baby! Get up!
Yes!
Get up!
Katie Ledecky.
Oh, Ledecky's coming back! Ledecky's fighting like an animal! Titmus! Ledecky! Titmus! Come on! Go!
Let's give her the double guns. Double guns.
What a swim, that negative split. She wasn't sleepy.
Wow. That's special.
Amazing.
Is the world record under threat tonight, Aaron?
I always want to say yes. I don't know if it would be polite for me to say no, but I am.
I'll say it for him. No.
I'm so mad right now.
Because you had to watch that?
Yeah. Every single American swim nerd can do math and know that that was a dumb thing to do. You're the only team putting a girl in breaststroke. That's not how to do this relay. Chalmers.
Oh my God. No.
Come on,
Got it. Oh, I think he's all right. He looks. Oh my God.
Nice!
How?
He
found a way.
How?
Let's go.
How did that happen? How did that happen?
I try and learn from the swimmers that are in there. Like I think it's looking at each individual athlete that's in front of you and looking at the strengths and weaknesses of that individual and trying to, just trying to get them better. Obviously, 100 is that meeting point of speed and endurance. And I think if you go too much one way, if you get too much speed and not enough endurance, you've got an athlete that can get out there but can't get back. And if you go too much endurance and not enough speed, you've got an athlete that can come in but they can't get out. So it's really challenging to try and find the right mix for each of the people that you've got in your program. But that's probably the way that I look at it.
It's just so important. Like you need to understand this is a year-round sport. There is maybe 2 to 3 weeks out of the year that you take time off, and that's it. And people make mistakes saying, "Oh, I worked this hard all season. I'm good. I can take 2 months off." But in reality, it takes so long to get back into shape that you're wasting your time at that point.
I like the feeling of dying because it's funny, but I love watching people die. It's always funny. Even like when I die, there's this one practice Alfonso
in swimming terms, not actually.
Yeah. Swimming, yeah.
Coming into these Olympics, we just weren't in an event where you were trying to win Olympic gold. I was in an event where I was trying to take out what we believe is the GOAT in Katie. So to do that, we had to push ourselves to the absolute limit. And if people understood what work it takes, I don't know whether they would comprehend it, but some part of it may be jealousy, who knows? But this is what high performance sport is. You got to work hard.
My objective was completed. I wanted to achieve an Olympic final. And so I did too. And I even took 4th place. 2-3 months before the Olympics, I wasn't even qualified in the 200. And so just managing to get 4th best in the world without being qualified 2 months before was just, I don't know, blew my mind.
You've changed the game in breaststroke. There's going to be late breathers all over the world now, right?
I didn't even know. It's when I saw them analyzing my video and saying I have this different stroke. I was like, oh, I thought this was breaststroke. Like for me, it didn't feel like I was doing anything different.
All of a sudden, on the last 3 or 4, she got really good. And through the whole thing, I was coaching her like coaches do, trying to encourage her or fix this or that or the other. And all of a sudden, she got really good on the last 3 or 4, and I thought, I must have done something really good there. I probably said just the right thing. And I asked her later, I said, why were those last 4 so good or something like that? And she said, well, I pretended like Kate Campbell was on one side and Bronnie Campbell was on the other. And that was the game that she had played that day to raise her game to the next level.
I remember I was at my friend's house and we were watching the Olympics. And I was eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and I was watching Summer Sanders swim and I was like, oh, I want to be her. And so that was like my first kind of like, wow, this is where you can go with swimming, right? That's the top of the top. And watching her, I just felt like she was so graceful in the water and I just loved watching her swim. So I told my parents, hey, I'm going to be like Summer Sanders. I'm going to swim in the Olympics. And I think most parents, when their kids at 10 come to them and say that, are like, oh, that's so sweet. Good luck with that. Little did they know 4 years later, I'd be like trying to compete at that level.
And maybe there were some really good reasons why they had that selection policy in place. And maybe it made sense in the past. It just doesn't make sense anymore based on the fact that, you've got some of the best swimmers, world record holders sitting on the bench who don't qualify based on their criteria, who stand to lose hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that's where the argument comes in, is that you guys are now, it feels like they're taking income away from you. They're withholding income from you, your potential income based on the fact that you could go out there, break a world record at the meet, get that money, get the money for winning the race, do some other races, potentially come away with close to $100,000 based off that one meet for a few days of racing. I mean, that's life-changing for a swimmer, honestly. So I think that's where the argument comes in. I think it needs to have a serious look at it. I'm going to keep complaining about it for you, man. I know that the swimmers don't want to go out there and publicly, you know, complain for themselves. And I kind of get that. But I think if people like me or other people like me make enough noise, we can kind of force some change onto this thing.
Well, let's take Rio for example. So I come out and say I don't want to race a cheater, like, you know, my groundbreaking news. And I do get a lot of positive feedback, obviously. But I also get like, I remember there being some article written that was like, she's the nasty American, like she's restarting the Cold War. And I was like, what? Like, what the hell, you guys? So yeah, it's kind of one where like people are like, oh my God, she's outspoken. She has opinions. That's not cool. Like, she's a girl. And they never say it, but like, if I were a guy, they would never say anything like that. So, you know, it's just kind of that double standard I have to deal with.
And from the get-go, they pretty much told me that, look, you got to come in here and just work hard. And, you know, and I didn't think that, you know, I would coach or anything at all. Like when I came in, my mentality just, all right, I need to be the best water boy and towel boy in the NC2A. You know, if they want me to fill up the water bottle for the whole team, I'll do that.
Whenever I get a chance to talk at a clinic, like that's my biggest takeaway in life, is just go be the best version of yourself, not the second best version of whoever your mentor is, you know.
Someone said beef. I mean, it was fun last year. I mean, I enjoyed that, man. I enjoyed a little competitive juices flowing, man. Didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean,
it was fun.
It wasn't necessarily very fun, but
we got a 50 kick for time here.
We're gonna start a new competition, worldwide competition, huh?
Yeah. We got to make up the rules though. All right. So I guess when we were down there again, we talked to Eddie about this, right? He was like going around the pool deck during the 1988 Olympics or something. And he was asking every single person, like, how fast can you kick 50 meters with a board? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to pay the fastest man and the fastest woman $250 each.
Howdy. How was it?
I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm not kidding. Oh my God.
Deep breaths, man. Deep breaths.
I'm 62 years old.
Good job.
57.
And just the trust. I think the trust piece is so important. Trust what your coach is telling you, whether it is right or wrong. If you do completely trust in it, it more than likely is going to work out.
You know, for me, if there's something to reflect back on, I love the stories that I have from swimming. I love the success that I have from swimming. But at the end of the day, it pales in comparison to being a parent and raising children. And you know, I remember David saying one of the first days I was on campus at Auburn, you know, college is special, but it's not the best years of your life. Yeah. So go ahead and remove that stigma from it. And look, I loved college. Had a great time, had a lot of success, but he's right. He's right. And I think that applies to swimming. You know, you can be the most successful person in a sport, but at the end of the day, there's bigger things to life than just a sport.
The brave people with courage can go for it and take what comes. Don't cut any corners. Go for it and see what happens.
Love it. Beautiful way to end too.